come to my channel and study, learn Swahili. I'm telling you, you will understand Swahili in a very short time. You cannot be very perfect like foreigners living in Tanzania, so like someone like Bongo Zozo, Sharobaro millionaire Chinese living in Tanzania. Pole pole, slowly, but sure. All right. Hello everyone, Jambo, habari zenu. All right, this is Learn Swahili with Masunga, and it's my new channel. It's for the main purpose of this channel is to learn Swahili language. All right, so it's a teaching, Swahili teaching channel, and it's called Learn Swahili with Masunga. All right, so because this is my first video on my channel, I would like to talk about the Swahili, the origin of Swahili, where Swahili language is spoken, and what advantages you can get if you learn the language. All right, just to start, Swahili is the biggest spoken language in Africa. It's the biggest spoken language in Africa. Mind you, in Africa, there are 54 countries. I think 55 now. 54 countries in Africa. So it's big. It's not a small continent. It's big. And, you know, it's the second biggest in the world after Asia. All right. So being the biggest spoken language in Africa, it's not a small deal. That means if you can speak Swahili, you can enjoy in many countries, more than one country. You can enjoy staying or doing business or visiting. You can enjoy visiting because you can talk with the natives, the indigenous people there, because they can understand the language. There is a difference in speaking English and or French. It's okay, they understand, but if you can speak their language, that means you'll be very, very close to them. All right? So, right, you can see Tanzania. I'm from Tanzania. That's where the native speakers of Swahili are found. All right, although it's spoken in many countries like Kenya, Uganda, Zambia, Somalia, Congo, Madagascar, although it's spoken in all those countries. But if you want to learn the authentic, the perfect Swahili, it's in Tanzania, where everyone can speak the language and it's perfect. All right, so yep, to declare the interest, I'm from Tanzania, all right? And I have everything, people, you have to like your country. All right, so I have been an ESL teacher, English as a second language in Asia, all right? So if I can teach English to students of other countries and they can understand me very well, that means I'm not right if I don't teach my language, if I don't teach Swahili language to other people, it's not really good. So I have decided to start this channel mainly for teaching Swahili. Authentic Swahili, perfect Swahili, original Swahili. All right. So Swahili is called Kiswahili in Swahili language. Ki, the prefix ki, means the language of the people of a certain kind. So Swahili, Kiswahili. All right. So the origin of Swahili, it's kind of complicated It's complicated, but Swahili is a mixture of many languages. All right, there are some words you find in Swahili. They are Portuguese. I mean, they are originated from Portugal. Some French, some Germany. And the reason is, I think it's because of the colonization of Africa. Mind you, Africa was colonized by many people, British. For instance, for Tanzania was colonized by the Arabs, the German and British. All right, although now it's mostly on the British side, but it was colonized by British. All right, so I'm gonna be using different types of books as a reference in my lessons. So one of the reference books is this one. I bought it in Amazon. All right, you can find this book in Amazon, but for this one, I think it's for people who already know the language in most cases, because it doesn't give you the foundation of how the things are formed, like the Swahili nouns, the pronouns, which I am going to teach you in that way, because I want you to learn in my channel. You come to my channel, I guarantee you to speak Swahili in a very, very short time, because I have the technique to teach people of other languages. All right, so I have the technique. Even where I live now, I have taught adults and I have taught children. I have the techniques, so I'm going to use the techniques I use to teach English in Swahili. So I guarantee you best Swahili lessons here. All right, so just to start it, so as I told you, it's Swahili. This is English, and here is Kiswahili. Kiswahili is the prefix which makes it to be in a Swahili language. So Kiswahili, msingi wa kusema, kusoma na kuandika. So the translation of this is a foundation for speaking, reading, and writing. All right, kusema is speaking, kusoma is reading, and kuandika is writing. Okay, so what I want to pass you through today is just introduction of the Swahili language, where how it began, the origin of Swahili, where it's spoken, and yeah. Okay, first of all, here is Eastern Africa. Eastern Africa, you can see there are countries like Tanzania. You can see the biggest one there. There's Kenya, there's Uganda, there's Zaire, which is Congo. There's Sudan, Ethiopia, and there is Malawi. But I'm telling you, it's spoken almost everywhere around here. And this is Africa. You can see, if you can speak Swahili, first of all, you can go anywhere here and you can enjoy your time there. All right. So, because it's the origin, it's written in English. Okay. The lessons will be in Swahili, as you can see. The lessons will be in Swahili, but because the main reason is to teach people of other languages how to speak Swahili, it's in English. All right. Okay. So I will read just a little bit, For instance, this is about Swahili. Okay, Swahili, or Kiswahili as it is referred to by speakers of the language, is spoken throughout Eastern Africa, and as a first language, however, it is spoken only on the offshore islands of Zanzibar, Tanzania, Pemba, Mafia, and Lam. Okay, and for the most part, only along the East African coast, from the southern part of Somalia in the north to about the Mozambique-Tanzania border in the south. There are also speakers on the Comoro Islands in the Indian Ocean, north of Madagascar, and some very small and diminishing communities in Madagascar. There are also growing communities of first language speakers throughout East Africa, especially in urban areas. As a second language, it's spoken by upwards 50 million people who may live in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, with further language concentrations of speakers in Shaba and Kivu provinces of Eastern Zaire, which is Congo. There are also smaller numbers of speakers in many of the countries bordering Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. For instance, Burundi, Rwanda, Zambia, Malawi, and Mozambique. Most of these people speak Bantu. They speak Bantu, Nilotic and Cushitic languages as their first language, and their knowledge of Swahili varies greatly. It varies. I'm telling you. That's why if you are taught by someone from Tanzania, you will speak the best Swahili because it varies. They can understand each other. For instance, in the Congo and Malawi, they speak some, but it's not the real, the authentic, the perfect one. Okay? All right. So that is about the introduction. So what I want, as I told you, it's a mixture of languages. All right? So what languages contribute mostly in the Swahili languages? Swahili language. So Swahili is a Bantu language. All right? Bantu language. What is Bantu language? This is a large group of languages spoken from Cameroon in the northwestern Africa through Central Africa into Eastern and Southern Africa. Other examples of Bantu languages are Zulu in South Africa, Sukuma in Tanzania, Kikuyu in Kenya, Congo in Zaire, the Congo in Zaire, and Douala in Cameroon. Okay? Although they are not mutually intelligible, they all derive from one common ancestral language, sharing much basic vocabularies. Okay, so the Bantu languages, as I mentioned some of them here, they share common ancestral languages. Okay, as they have the basic vocabulary. Okay, so what does it mean by this? Okay, today here I prepared one noun which is almost the same in all these Bantu languages I mentioned. All right, so and this is actually this is what I prepared today. It's Swahili from Tanzania, as I told you, it's the perfect one. Okay, so it comes from Bantu languages. Bantu languages, as I said, they're from the western to central to eastern. So it's a big group of languages. So, for instance, in Swahili, we call a person mtu. Okay? Mtu, person, or people in general. Okay, Swahili. Let me write person. Person, okay? Mtu in Swahili language means a person. All right, so that is Swahili, like in Tanzania and Kenya and Uganda, we call mtu as a person. But in other tribal Bantu languages, like in Zulu in South Africa, they call umuntu. You can see the vocabulary, the basic vocabulary looks like all the same. Mtu, umuntu, they sound the same, right? And the Congo in Zaire, muntu, that's person. How about Kikuyu in Kenya? Mundu. All right? So they just vary a little, but the vocabulary is almost the same. And Sukuma in Tanzania, munho. All right? And Douala in Cameroon, they call moto. All right. So, excuse me. So you can see here, uh, Bantu languages contributed a lot in the Swahili language. Okay, so you can see here from Tanzania, from Kenya, from Cameroon, from uh, Somalia, from South Africa, they sound the same. So you can see maybe that's the reason why Swahili is spoken in almost every place of Africa. In fact, even in the Western, for instance, in Nigeria, many musicians now they mix some Swahili words in their music because it brings a flavor in their music, and it brings more fans because Swahili speakers are almost everywhere. Okay, so that was just the simple introduction. So, as I said, Swahili it has words from different languages. For example, it is a common misconception that Swahili is some sort of mixed languages, a combination of some African dialect and Arabic. This incorrect view has arisen because Swahili has borrowed a great deal of vocabulary from Arabic and from other languages as well. It has been estimated that the borrowing from Arabic, Persian, Hindi, and other Indian Ocean languages is 20%. Okay, in spoken Swahili, 30% in written Swahili. Okay, so as I said, Swahili is a mixture of different languages. It has borrowed a lot of words. Okay, so let's see a few words which I think you are familiar with them. Borrowed from maybe this is Arabic. For instance, Nabi is a prophet, that is Arabic. Kitabu is a book, means it's in Arabic. Kalam is a pen or a pencil, Arabic. Tarehe is date. And yeah, Lasirimari, capital or assets. That is in Arabic. So there are other like British one. British are the same. Like motor car is car. Bicycle is bicycle. So we just changed a little bit. Okay. Machine is machine, right? Because it's machine. It's English one. Okay. Tie, a tie. We call it tie as also. Bank is a bank, same as English. All right. Dereva is in Swahili. Is a driver. It's English one. All right. And some Portuguese ones are like bomba, which is a pump. The mpira, which is a ball. It's Portuguese. Mvinho, which is wine, is Portuguese. All right. So we have borrowed a lot of and mesa, yes, which is table. Okay. So Swahili comprises of many languages, but at the end, we have created a perfect and beautiful language called Swahili. In fact, other people, when they listen to us, they say, "Oh, I like listening to you because it feels like you are singing while you are speaking your language. It's so good." I'm telling you, Swahili is wonderful. It's awesome. Okay, so I know I can talk and talk because there are many things I can talk about Swahili. I'm telling you, there are many things I can't finish. All right, but what I guarantee you is come to my channel and study, learn Swahili. I'm telling you, you will understand Swahili in a very short time. You cannot be very perfect like foreigners living in Tanzania, so like someone like Bongo Zozo, a British guy, a white guy. He speaks very fluent and He can speak street Swahili. You cannot speak like him, but I guarantee you can speak. You cannot be like uh, other foreigners like Sharobaro millionaire Chinese living in Tanzania. They are very fluent. Okay. All right. So thank you for listening to my introduction. Although there are many areas I haven't touched, but slowly you will learn, and I will let you know many things you want to know about Swahili. Pole pole, slowly, but sure. All right. So asante means thank you, and karibu means welcome. So, and another word which I like using is kwaheri, which means bye-bye. So, thank you for listening to my Swahili introduction today. And asante na kwaheri means thank you and goodbye. Asante na kwaheri. Please subscribe for more videos. Kwaheri.